Hey, hey, everybody! Welcome back to this live episode of Think Business. I'm talking to Sidz today. Siddharth Rajsekar. Is that right? Did I pronounce it right? And this is one of the reasons I love this podcast is because through a booking agency, you're in India, I'm in the United States. We're talking as if we're right next to each other. So thanks for taking time to. It's about 9 p.m. ish your time. So thanks for being on the show today. Sidz, I'm really looking forward to talking with you because you've got a pretty interesting business. You know, you're founder of Internet Lifestyle Hub, which is the #1 fastest growing community of digital coaches and mentors, ILH.world. And you're all about building courses, e-learning, and community. So let's start with COVID hits, all of us everywhere around the world. And I really do believe that, there are going to be an uptick in online courses. Yeah. And so talk a little bit about the market and where you see it going post-COVID.
Sure. Thank you, John. First of all, thank you for inviting me to this podcast. And I think it's so relevant of this particular topic. I've been doing some research on this space for a long time, at least 2-3 years, the e-learning space, which is projected to become a $325 billion industry by 2025, according to Forbes. And this was even the pre-COVID era. Is all these projections were made back then. Yeah. But now when we are looking at COVID,
I bet it's bigger now.
It's much bigger.
Yeah.
And I was reading some stat. I think Zoom as a company, their revenue is something like 5 or 10 times more than all the airlines in the world put together. So it's like they have like really spiked up in their revenues. But the point here is schools are going online, colleges are going online. There's a complete disruption in the whole, the employment world itself. People are looking at working from home, and everything is dependent on live conferencing and in the whole space of video. So keeping that in mind, the course industry per se is just booming right now. And it's not just a typical conventional mainstream courses that colleges and schools offer, but we are looking at very niche courses that are coming out. Like I have people in my community who are teaching martial arts online, they're teaching cooking online, and everything that is so micro niche, which is making the whole ecosystem so much more wonderful. Like in one way, like there are so many people who want to learn so many new things. Yeah. So that's the revolution we are just getting into.
Yeah. I want to talk about courses though, because I was really excited when your name and company came across, because I'm in the process of creating a lot of online courses, because I think over the next decade, guys like me who are business coaches have to have that service for people. Yeah. But I want to talk about courses in general because, and I never know how to pronounce it, but what I have researched is that Udemy has about an 8% completion rate. A lot of completion rates are anywhere between 3 and 12%. Even like the Harvards, the MITs, and the Yales who put their classes online, they've got a 4 to 6% completion rate. And so completion rate, having a course and having people complete it are two totally different things.
Yes.
And so what's the secret to actually creating a course that people actually finish?
Very good question. I've got an answer to that, and I've got a 50% completion rate on my platform, which is actually 10 times industry average, which is 5%. You're right about that.
Good job.
So see, the first step is to approach it more from a problem solving angle as compared to an information giving angle. Like if you look at most course creators, they just want to give a bunch of information. And you have these crash deals that are happening on Udemy, and it's like $7, $10 courses. People just go and impulsively buy without really knowing what's in it for them. So the first step is to
note. I bought probably 20 or 30 of those. I haven't bought them in a while because they go on sale, and I think for $3.99, $4.99, whatever it is. How could I lose? Right.
Exactly.
But I never even open them up.
Yeah, that's because the value is not probably established.
Yeah.
Or in other words, like it's a deal, it's an offer. It seems really attractive in that offer, and we just go buy. Right. So that is that's happening on one side. So the way that I approach it is is the complete opposite of that. When I say opposite is, first I look at the problem that you want to solve. So if I'm working with people in the business coaching world, I make them first narrow down on the problem that they want to solve. So for example, let's say I'm going to give 3 options. So the first option is, hi, I'm Siddharth Rajsekar. I'm a business coach and I can help your business grow. Second option, hi, I'm Siddharth Rajsekar. I'm a sales expert and I can help your business increase in your sales. Now, that's slightly better because you're narrowing it down still further. The third one is the best, is like, hi, I'm Siddharth Rajsekar. I'm a video sales expert and I can help your business grow using the power of videos. Now that becomes so much more attractive because even though it's under the business growth niche, it is still focused on a particular skill set, which is again leading to the goal, which is sales, to improve sales. So when the whole course creation process is reversed, rather than just saying, okay, this is a business growth accelerator course, which has everything in it, the completion rate is going to be so much lower as compared to a very laser pointed course, which is focused on improving that one particular area. So the first step is the whole approach of what should be the title of your course, and taking the problem solving approach. That's the first step. The next step is
but what you're saying, create a course to help someone in one particular area.
Yes, one particular area, one particular problem. Yes.
Right. One area, one problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think where the problem comes in is sometimes people have these 4-hour courses and it's like there's 500 elements to it. Yes. And so does that one particular course in one area, one problem, maybe an effective course is 35 minutes. I'm just trying to say, 27 minutes long versus 4 hours long because you're just narrow. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. 27 minutes, maybe it's a little too less. You could go up to say 90 minutes. Yeah, it's a shorter version. And I've got a science behind how do you structure it. Now, you need to have 2 levels of courses, not just one. So that's what I'm coming to. Yeah. So the step 2 is you break down that course into a conceptual course and an implementation course. So for example, if somebody is going to talk about video sales, let's say video sales formula, if that's the course, the basic course should be just 90 minutes or less in duration, where you cover all the concepts of videos, like what are the different formats of videos that you can sell through, or what are the different equipment that you need, what are the different software that you need. You give all the concepts. What are the different video sales scripts that you can use, which are the different hosting platforms for video. So you cover all the conceptual knowledge in that basic course that somebody can finish in one sitting if possible.
Yeah.
And that's like a tripwire. An ideal price point is like, say, from $47 all the way up to $197. Again, depending. 97 is like a good midway.
Yeah.
On a starting level course. And then as people are finishing that course, then you give them an implementation course, like a 30-day challenge, where they can actually go and every day they go and watch one video and they go and execute and implement, where by the end of 30 days, they're able to actually close a few deals using videos. Mm-hmm. So what I've noticed is when I have broken my entire curriculum into 2 levels, a conceptual layer or conceptual level and an implementation level, the completion rate is much higher. And it's very focused on a problem. And I'm also engineering the course, not from a perspective of giving as much of knowledge as I can, but I'm engineering the course based on what steps should my student take to achieve the goal that they're looking for.
Yeah.
So it's a very different approach.
No, I love it. Well, what I love what you're talking about, Sidz, is you're talking about the simplicity. I mean, you're talking about making it simple for people. I think one of the things people forget is that there's only so much people can receive in one, like you said, 90 minutes where they can sit down and actually go through it. It's too much for the brain otherwise.
Yes, absolutely. See, because if you look at the world today, YouTube has so much of content. People are swimming in YouTube for hours in a day and they're getting even more confused. Yeah. So the approach for courses should be more systematic, more simple, and more actionable rather than just giving what was there. Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's like, I'm just making a note. It's kind of like, you go to On Demand today and there's 4,000 movies.
Yeah.
It's impossible to choose.
It's impossible to choose. It actually freezes the brain. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk about talk about time frames and a couple things. One of the studies that I've heard many years ago is that a 30-second video is equivalent to 3.5 million words read as far as retention. And that people will be more apt to watch 5 2-minute videos back to back than a 10-minute video. So what's the ideal length that someone can actually, like a 90-minute course is not, I'm assuming, 90 minutes. It's broken up into pieces. What's the ideal time frames?
Great question. And for me, the ideal time frame is between 3 to 5 minutes. And this is also like micro learning. So you have to like break it into very small chunks. So even if you have to share a big concept, which takes 1 hour to share, you break it down into as many small elements as possible with sections and subsections, where each video, if people are consuming that video, they're able to really get a lot of value in that video, even if it's just 3 minutes. So that's the answer to the question. Is between 3 to 5 minutes is a good attention span. But the first video of my course is usually a little bit longer because they're very excited and they want to learn more. And I like to set the context extremely strong. So my first video is 20 minutes and I have another one which is a little bit 40 minutes, one video. And I know that people will watch that video because they've just bought the course. But after that, I fragment it into smaller ones.
Yeah, that's so important. And so how do you get people who have bought a course, taken the course, been into the course, life gets in the way, and then remind them that they actually bought the course, right? Okay. So how do you do that? Because I find myself, like, I bought master's class, and I watch a bunch of them, and then I forget that I even bought it. So what's the marketing art behind that?
Yes. So there are two sides to this piece. Okay. So the course is in between, and there are some things that need to be done before they buy the course, and something you should do after they buy the course. So what I do is the way that I sell my course itself is a process. So I always I sell my courses through live webinars, where I educate and I engage people for 90 minutes. I set the expectation clear, and I tell them what's in it for them, and then I make them buy. So when people are buying my course, it is never an impulsive decision. It is a very informed decision. And I also set the tone, like when I'm actually giving them the link to buy my course, I tell them, I would like you to commit yourself 100% for the next 30 days of going through this learning journey. So the level of seriousness that people come in with, that actually helps in the completion rate. So that's the first part of how I...
Well, because they've invested, what you're saying is they've invested in watching the live.
Yes.
Right? And so now they've come in, they're a higher probability prospect.
Yes.
And now, okay, so rewind for me for a minute, right? Because for anybody who's listening, who's, to me, to scale a business over the next decade, you must be thinking how to turn your business into this on some level, whether it's internally or externally to your clients. On some level as an option. But how do you get people to the live webinar? So I just want to kind of rewind that for a minute.
Yes. So in my case, I run Facebook ads and Google ads, and it is perpetually running. So I do 2 webinars in a week. I do like a Monday night webinar and I do a Friday evening webinar. And that is like running 24/7. So it goes into...
Which days do you do?
Monday and Friday.
Monday and what time?
Monday in India time, I do 9 p.m. And Fridays I do at 4 p.m. in the evening.
And is there a science behind the time?
No, I just kept split testing different times, and I see that these two have been working for my audience for the kind of list that I have. So this will be very dynamic depending on the niche. Yes. Yeah. So it's working well for me, and I also keep moving things around. Sometimes I shift it to Sunday, I shift it to Thursday. But I like to do a night webinar mainly for people who are back from work and keeping their schedule in mind, that they're ready to come in and learn something new. And the evenings is usually for the people who are working in office and they want to, now that everyone is working from home, so they want to like tune in on some new knowledge. So it works, and I've never seen any big difference in conversions between the two. It's been the same. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, good. So you get there, and so I just want to highlight one thing. Facebook ads, Google ads, you need to invest. There's sometimes there's a point where you can do so much, but then you have to invest in yourself and increasing the awareness outside of your network, right?
Absolutely.
And be asking yourself, this isn't something you said, but I just want to, for the people who are listening now or later, you got to understand, what's the client worth? What are you willing to spend to get a client, and then reverse engineer, into the dollars that you want to spend.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So that's the pre to the pre, if I should say, like Facebook ads, Google ads, get them into webinar, educate them for 90 minutes, and then you get them to buy the course. So the high level of commitment. In fact, in the webinars, I also tell people that if you cannot dedicate 90 minutes per day for the next 90 days, I don't even want your money. It's like, I make it so blunt that when people buy, the commitment level is extremely high. So that's the first part. I would say the pre-framing part of the whole process. Now, after they have bought my course, every week I have a live Q&A session for all my paid members, and that's my weekly inner circle mastermind that I do on Thursdays. And that's what keeps people together, because if they just buy the course, they're not going to finish. And when they come for these weekly calls, it's just a 1 hour call that I do. It's a live group coaching. So all my customers come in. So I just welcome everyone. I find out who are the new members who have just come into the community. I call out their names. I welcome them. And then I ask them, okay, how has this course been going? How much have you finished? And I put up a Google form and ask them to type whatever question that they have in their mind. And I answer questions for an hour. Sometimes it even goes to 90 minutes. And the beautiful part about this is by the end of that call, people are so energized, and then they go back to learning the course. So you have to have a weekly touch point to clarify things to get them to get back to learning.
Yeah. Well, and what you're talking about, and I found this, I created an online course I have on my website, and it's just one that I did a couple of years ago. And what I found is when I created the course, not many people bought it, but when I included live time with me, they bought it.
They bought it.
Because I think with courses, what I have found is people really need a piece of you, whether it is one-on-one, whether it's group coaching. That's the value. That's
exactly
that real-time coaching value, right? I'm a business coach, so I can package into a course something, but it's really that real-time piece of advice that accelerates and gets them humming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally with you. Yes.
Yeah. So I love what you're talking about. So let's talk about, and I know you are focused, you're in India, you focus most of your business in India, but for those people who just want to start a course, like how do you even get started? What technology do you use? How do you start just mapping it out? What's the flow?
Okay. So when it comes to hosting your courses, there are a couple of platforms that are easy to use. I use a platform called teachable.com, which is to host my courses. There's thinkific.com, there's podia.com. There are many platforms that are ready to use. So you don't have to really build anything ground up for hosting your courses.
Do you ever use Trainable?
Trainable, I've not tried that tool.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I look at the pieces, the technology pieces of the puzzle, you need to have a learning management system, which is one of these. You need to have an email marketing system. So I have an email list where I keep bringing people back to my different promotions and trainings that I do. You need to have a webinar system. So either you want to use Zoom, which is the most stable out there, or you could even use Webinar Jam, and there are many other platforms which allow you to do like one-to-many conferencing and webinars.
Yeah.
The other piece of the technology for me is my landing pages for my marketing. So I use ClickFunnels for generating all my leads for my webinars, and whatever leads come in through ClickFunnels, that gets into my webinar system. So it's basically the webinar system, the learning management system, your landing page system, and your email marketing system. This is like the more very important part of your business. And the core of this is your payment gateway. You need to have like your payment processors to collect that payment online. Like even though I drive business mostly within India, but I have customers from all over the world, and I'm able to accept in any currency as well. So even though it's more focused on one country, I'm open to a global market as well. So that also needs to be kept in mind, that you'll have, when it comes to a course, people from anywhere can actually buy your course. And besides that, there's a lot of other smaller elements, like I have tracking systems to check different aspects of my campaigns, and what kind of effectiveness is happening on each of the ads. So that's a little bit more on the traffic side of the game, where there's a lot more tracking that can be done.
Yeah.
So for somebody who's just starting off, you just need to have an idea on what problem you want to solve. Create a basic and like a level 1 and a level 2 course, like a basic, a conceptual and implementation course. You can straight away host them on platforms like Teachable, which also has payment gateway integrations with PayPal and Stripe, and you can start selling straight off. And the best way to sell is not to just share those links on social media and just the direct payment links. The better thing to do is to get people into an online seminar or a webinar, a 90-minute, 2-hour webinar, educate, engage, and then offer your course.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love what you're doing, Sidz. I think it's great. And just talk real quickly before we move into a quick speed round. The importance of clients to get on board with this, $325 billion by 2025 business. And I would expect it would probably be, because of COVID, accelerated to probably, this would be my own 2 cents, $500 million, because it's just going to be growing. So just talk a little bit about the importance of, why companies need to be thinking like this.
Yeah, the fundamental thing is, I think the education system and the employment system is going through a major reformation right now. It's like, even schools are thinking what to do now.
Correct.
So it's, I think the COVID has been like a blessing in disguise for many of the educators now to start to rethink on how to do it. Like even in India right now, after 35 years, they have changed the entire education policy because it was a conventional system built in, when the Britishers came in 1900s, and that same curriculum was still running even till now. And now the shift is happening in the education industry. So to answer your question, we are just in the beginning stage of a new way of looking at, defining ourselves as human beings on what makes us valuable.
Right.
The previous generation was, the degree makes us valuable, or that certificate that we get makes us valuable. But I think now it is more to do with the skill sets and the attitudes of what kind of value you can deliver. And that's why this this emerging trend of the new education or e-learning, it opens up a new world of opportunities for anyone to be able to pick up any skill to be valuable in the marketplace, where they can monetize their knowledge with whatever skills that they have. So I think it's changing the entire education and employment system, and people are beginning to rethink how they are going to plan their future based on what's happening.
Yeah. And when I saw Google release a couple months ago that they were having Google certificates where you could get certified in X, Y, and Z, I thought, oh yeah, this is a game changer, because college is so expensive today that there is a big part of the world that cannot afford a 4-year degree, even a 2-year degree today. Here in Michigan, Governor Whitmer, I don't know all the details, but she came out and said from between April and June of this year, any first responder, and maybe getting some of this wrong, that does not have a college education can get a 2-year associate's degree at a community college for free. If you were a first responder because of COVID. And things like this and Google and courses are going to educate people for those niche markets that they need. So I can't think it out. I love everything you're talking about. Quick speed round for you, Sidz. I see there's a bunch of books behind you. What's your favorite business book, and why?
My favorite book, recent favorite, is Thou Shall Prosper by Rabbi Daniel Lapin. It's a very interesting book where he brings in the angle of how the spiritual side of money. It really opened up my mind to a different way of looking at business itself. Thou Shall Prosper. I love that book.
It's by a rabbi who?
Rabbi Daniel Lapin.
Oh, good. I'll check that out. Best piece of wisdom you ever got?
To have more than you got to become more than you are. Jim Rohn.
That's a great one. A great one. And the last piece of advice, you're 37 years old. You had a digital company, which we really didn't get into at this talk, that you did for 8 years and then sold, worked for companies like people like Canfield and that type of caliber. And so to all the kids graduating college or young adults graduating college today in a world that is much different than they anticipated, one piece of advice for them.
Become a full stack brain. That means try whatever you can. Go wide in terms of what all is possible. Just pick up a lot of courses. Just keep learning. Once you go wide, then you start to narrow it down into the area that you really love. And then you start to go deep after that. Start to build your capabilities and expertise in that area. So it's wide, narrow, and deep. Yeah.
I love it. Sidz, tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, best place to connect with me.
If you're, I know you're focused more on India, but who your ideal clients are?
Can you repeat that question? I didn't get that. Yeah.
Tell people who your ideal clients are. I know you're focused in India, but just in general, how to get a hold of you.
Yes, my ideal clients are anyone who's an expert who wants to digitize and monetize their knowledge. So if you're a coach, consultant, trainer, speaker, you can actually benefit a lot by coming into my system. And the best place to get connected with me is on my YouTube channel. You can just look me up on YouTube. And I keep rolling out in-depth tutorial videos every week. When I say in-depth, at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes on new concepts that I keep developing. And a lot of case studies of my students that I share, inside, and I feature them also on my YouTube channel. So that's the first place. And if any of you here are watching, you want to, I have created a course called the Freedom Business Blueprint. And I want to give it for free for your audience. You just need to go to sidz.co/blueprint. So sidz.co/blueprint, and you can get that course for free. It's a $97 course, but we have applied a discount code just for your audience here.
It's great. Yeah. Sidz, I can't thank you enough, man. This was a blast. I really enjoyed
Thank you, John.
Learning about your business. I wish you all the best. You're doing great things. And I can't wait till we talk again. Not that we'll talk before then, 10 years from now, to see all the content and all the great things that have been created and see what $1 trillion business this becomes.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for taking time to listen. If Sidz can help you, reach out to him. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Sidz.
Thank you.
Sidz, stay